Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to the Get Total Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Steve Davis, and I brought you a guest today. We're going to talk a little bit about flipping. His name is Curtis Warden, and he is not only a new construction guy, but he's actually done some existing home rehab and flip as well. And I want to get his opinion. We're going to have some fun with some dumb stuff that people do when they flip houses.
I love that.
And I want to get your opinion on a couple of things. But first, how about you get your crystal ball out and tell us what's going to happen in 2021 with flippers.
Okay, I think a lot of flippers will be out of the market. I'm seeing people pay a lot for these wholesale deals, these off-market properties. I think the trend now is, it's something that you used to say at the old place where I first heard you and on the radio. You would say, heads I win, tails I win.
Yes.
Right now, the tough part to win is that you can't, if you can't buy a property, there's no way to win if your only way that you're buying property is overpriced. So you have a couple things going. You have the city of Houston's working against you to release permits. The futures for lumbers are exorbitant.
Through the roof.
They're over 900% for lumber. So where I was paying $257 for a 2x4, now I'm paying $8 for the same 2x4. The 2x4 hasn't changed. It's still a 2x4.
Right.
It's just the cost to acquire has gotten exponentially much greater, which is then going to force people to have to build bigger houses, which is then going to, because the bigger house that you build, the lower your prices per square foot.
Right.
Which then is going to cost people to list their prices higher. So you're going to have people who are being, the entry-level homeowner is being squeezed. I don't see my crystal ball says there's no more 1,600 square foot homes on a full-size lot.
Yeah.
You'll find those in townhouses. I think the entry person now is coming in a townhouse type community or a condo. And so it's going to make the prices accelerate on existing homes. One, because you don't have to deal with the city permits. And you're going to have greater amounts of people that are going to need rental properties again, because there is a massive influx of foreclosures that is going to eventually take place, and renters being evicted. So my crystal ball says invest in areas close to HEB, invest close to the med center, invest close to downtown, and invest in Cy-Fair ISD or Katy ISD.
Interesting. Yeah, I do believe that the size of the houses have been getting bigger. I remember when the average square footage was around 1,500. Now it's like average is 2,200.
Right.
That's going to grow. With the oncoming foreclosures, well, let's discuss something you brought up first, which is people overpaying. And this does destroy you. People who go out there, they buy a set of books and CDs off late night TV, and they think they understand the market. They don't take a course. They don't have a mentor. They go out there, they overpay for the property. They lose money on their first deal. It's like burning your hand on the stove. Are you going to go back and touch it? No, you're not going to put your hand back out there. So I think you're dead on. All these people who are paying too much for these wholesale deals are going to get burnt and get out of the market. If they had known what they were doing and had won, heads I win, tails I win, they would stay in the market. So I think we're going to lose a lot of these people that are causing the problem of overpriced wholesale deals. They're going to disappear because they burnt their hand. They're not going to go back in. Then with the foreclosures coming, I think there's going to be a good opportunity for flippers that know what they're doing in the latter part of the year. So let's talk about some dumb stuff that flippers are doing. The first one you brought up, just flat out overpaying. And I don't understand it, because how could you possibly have not run your comparable sales, known what the rehab was going to be? I think a lot of people are not adding in the sales cost when they do flip it. They're not adding in the closing costs. They're just going rehab, purchase price, ARV. Oh, there's a big spread. I'm going to buy it. But that can get eaten up quickly by your 6% sales commission, your closing costs, and so on. What do you kind of chalk it up to? What is it? Just ignorance? Is it just stupidity?
I think a lot of people look at HGTV and they say that's that's sexy. My wife will want to have sex with me if I can go be a house flipper, and I can go and you said this in your meeting. I went to a meeting that you just did on your goals, your goal setting workshop. You said basically everything a guy does is based around that one thing. And I think a lot of people, they look at HGTV and they want to be a star, and it takes a lot more than just watching flip or flop. Because if you watch that show, it is a catastrophe of errors.
It is.
Over and over and over, that guy Tarek just makes mistake after mistake after mistake. It seems like they buy the house for like just gut feeling, like no rhyme or reason. And they're always at the end of the show going, well, we're going to have to ask $30,000 more than what the latest comp was in order to make profit.
Like that's actually going to happen.
Right. And the person who salvages the deal is the designer. Without her design, he wasn't going to sell that property at that high price.
Yep.
So having a designer, I think, saves you money, because you're doing what people want is that one thing that nobody else has in their house.
Something unique.
So right now, where most people are not focusing their money on, that I am doing for my custom clients that I build houses for, and even for people who I'm managing their flip properties for, because I'm not buying personally. I've been throwing out offers, but no one's accepting my offer because I'm still offering
what it's worth,
what it's really worth, and what my time is worth. And so I'm just looking at people and I'm thinking, what is the one thing that everybody wants? And that is pandemic-proof housing. They need a backyard that they're going to be able to live life if the world shuts down.
Yep.
Swimming pools make you movie stars.
No doubt. So here's another one. Converting a garage.
Yeah.
And then not adding a garage.
Oh.
Just ripping the... And they always do it crappy to where you can tell it used to be a garage.
Right, the floating floor.
It's like you've got to tear out the garage, put the floor in, make the foundation look the same across, because you'll see the foundation go across and then dip. Hey, that used to be a garage.
Right.
It looks like crap.
And all the house is brick except for the area where the new garage is, and so then they just put in the sideways siding.
Yeah.
With the wood texture, the hardy it's awful. With the one window in the middle or door.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Leave the garage. The garage is an important part. If you're going to build out the garage, do it right and add a garage.
Well, that's a great point, because the same amount of money that it's going to cost you to convert the garage into a garage, you're just looking at that saying, oh, I get to save the money on adding a foundation. The foundation doesn't cost you that much. It's $5.50 a square foot for concrete.
Right.
You're going to have to pay probably $600 for an engineer to certify it. And you got to get somebody to draft it. Well, they have like little sketches that you can do, and then you can add your details on it. Go to the city of Houston, and if you're in a subdivision that's probably 30 years old, then you don't have to worry about HOAs coming and stopping you.
Right.
So you can add on to the back of the house. Someone would rather have an addition in the back versus the taking. Yeah. Because you know what a lot of people are doing with their garages, especially in places where I live? I have a detached garage. My detached garage is two things. It's a workout facility, and it's a storage.
Yep.
I rarely park my car in there. But what I've been converting in the Heights are I've turned garages into tiki bars. They become Airbnb facilities.
Interesting.
Yeah. So people are looking at ways to, which goes back to my point, pandemic proofing your house.
Yeah, it needs to be so perfect that it serves your family. I don't live in an expensive home. I have an expensive beach house, but a home really needs to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be huge, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It just needs to take care of your family. And building a tiki bar, now that's cool.
Right.
But when you did that, did you add a garage? You didn't just build a tiki bar and now they don't have a garage.
No, what we did was he said, hey, I'm using one side of this garage only to house my motorcycles. And he bought a tonal. So you know what the tonal is? It's like that little mirror where you work out. It's up against the wall.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's got that. And then I added in there a window unit that had heat and AC.
Gotcha.
And it controlled the environment to 1,100, I think it was 1,100 square feet. So one bedroom was big enough for him or one car garage was big enough for him
Gotcha.
to be able to store it and to have his tiki bar on the opposite side of the garage, closest to the backyard. So we opened up the garage, made sliding doors that open up, and he's got this little bar that folds down, and he's got bar stools that are in there when it's not being used, and that's what he wanted to use it for. He wanted a place to sit and hang out with his friends and have drinks during the middle of the coronavirus.
Interesting. So what's one of the dumbest things you see flippers do?
Killing beige. 77-cent tile at Home Depot. Walking into Floor and Decor and saying, this looks good over here. This looks good over there. There's no rhyme or reason, right?
Yeah.
It's like when I make all my design decisions on what's in clearance or what is the lowest price,
Right.
I'm missing my mark. It should be what makes me feel good. What makes me feel like I want to sit into this
You have to
master
be proud
bathroom.
of your product,
You do.
or you can't sell it.
Yeah. And I would tell everybody that your biggest mistake is you never walk either a wife, a girlfriend, or a realtor through there before you
point.
start flipping. Because I will tell you, I have learned way more through my fiance walking my properties and telling me what she doesn't like.
By the way, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that is a very good point, because I know that, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but women are amazing nesters. If they don't feel comfortable in a home, they don't like it, it doesn't seem like a good nest, then your buyer's wife is going to walk in there and go, this isn't a good nest for my kids either. So I love to have a woman look at my property, walk through it, and give me tips.
You know, you have so many one-liners that you would always drop. So for those people who are watching, this is like a full circle moment for me in my life. I spent the first year of my real estate education was listening to Steve every day at 12 o'clock on 700 KSEV. Every day of my life I listened to you. That's where I got my education. I even met with you to try to sign up to learn on a more educational basis. Did not have the $500 to do it. So what I did was trial and error. And fortunately for me, I had people who were willing to invest a little bit of money in me. I became a realtor. That helped me. And then I started walking property all the time. People who were currently flipping the houses where we were buying at. And I made this one key decision. When we flipped the property, we were going to flip the rental as a flip.
Okay.
Because where would you rather stay? Holiday Inn or Motel 6? That was my thought.
Gotcha.
So I felt like if I had stainless steel appliances and granite countertops versus butcher block or laminate, I was going to be able to rent my houses at the top of the price point. I went against almost everything that you had said, which was, I think you had like something where you were like, never buy a property below like 1988 or 1982. I can't remember.
Yeah, we used to use the lead paint number, which
Yes.
was 74 or something like
78,
that.
1978.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was buying stuff in Missouri City. I think we had amassed like 54 in my own portfolio. And
Wow.
then I've been a part of about 500 flips.
Man,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So I'm talking at this from the level of, I would say I've done this. This is how I would do it if I was going to go back and do it over again. But the biggest mistake, and to answer that question that you had just said was, and you're the key of one-liners. My one-liner that I'm going to leave everybody with is, it's called real estate, not feel estate. When you buy, and it is feel estate when you sell. And going back to what you were saying is, the man always signs off on the house, but the woman always chooses it. And if you don't focus on the areas that she's going to spend the majority of her time on, which is master closet, master bathroom, kitchen and living.
Kitchen and living. I agree with that.
And the husband, what does he focus on? I want a nice garage because when I'm in the doghouse, I want to go sit in there and play darts or or drink a beer or tinker around on my car or do something. And
the home office.
Home office or a backyard. Something
Gotcha.
where I can sit down and have a covered, area that I can watch the Astros or watch football while everybody else is dealing with Teletubbies and Dora the Explorer.
No doubt. But I can't agree more that everything I've ever done, because for me, and I know this can be brutal when I say it out loud, but for me, everything's foreplay. Buying a house is foreplay. I'm buying a house to impress my wife.
Yes.
Why do I have a Ferrari? Foreplay. Why do I have a beach house? Foreplay. I didn't want that beach house, but it serves my wife, and then she takes care of me. It's a great system. I love it.
Yeah. Well, you said the best investments that you ever made was paying for breast augmentation twice.
Yes. That's the best investment I've ever made.
But I would say that the nail that you hit on the head over and over with the whole foreplay situation is that the reason why most marriages fail is because guys stop focusing on that one thing. And that is, do something that's going to make her excited about you. In flipping a house where you have to go someplace a little bit different. No woman wants to go to Home Depot to go pick out tile. No one Floor and Decor is a little bit sexier.
Yeah.
But just think a little bit outside of the box. And how awesome. One, I have never met a woman investor who isn't way more successful than a man at flipping.
Yes.
And I think taking her there and getting her opinion and not ramrodding it through as a guy is going to make you a far better, more intelligent husband, father, partner than anything else.
Yeah, and it's an act of love and respect. So look, honey, I love you. I respect your opinion. Would you look at my house for me?
Yeah.
Makes her feel like $1 million.
And she's a part of it.
And she's a part of it. And it's legit.
Yeah.
You're not lying to her.
No.
It's legit. It's a legit woo, wooing her. All right. Well, I really appreciate it. Curtis, how can people reach out to you? Tell them about your podcast.
Okay. So I record my podcast every Tuesday here at the, the Total Wealth Academy Studios. This is the studio that we're in. It's like an ever-changing studio. I love it. You've invested into my idea for the podcast. I'm bringing in really cool people. It's called Nailed It. It's a podcast that's all about people in real estate, in business, in life who are just nailing it. I just released a show today about Vanessa Chavez and Charlie Kriegel going from Cancun to cancer in 2020 and how she beat breast cancer. It was a great podcast.
Amazing couple. She's phenomenal.
Yeah. And we're joining forces with them to come here and teach a class all about buying investment property in Tulum, which is another thing that I love most about you, is that you have become so creative with the total wealth experience. Like, Show me all the ways that I can make money in real estate, not just
Yes.
buying apartments or renting single family. We have this thing on this weekend, March the 6th, where we're bringing
Right.
people in from 10 to 12. We're hosting 200 people. Brant Phillips and I are going to be talking about single family development, new construction, high-end remodeling. But Brant, in and of itself, Brant was a police officer when you first met him, when I first met him. And now the guy is like, he's gone from company to company, best-selling author. He's done a lot of stuff. The guy's incredible. And so I get to brain bash with him. Plus, he and we flipped my first house together in the Heights. He was the first person. He partnered with me on my first one.
Cool.
So it's going to be a fun event. So that's how people can get in touch with me. You can also find me on Facebook, Curtis Warden.
All right.
Friend
And
me.
again, the name of his podcast is Nailed It. So check that out. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.